I'm like survival. Yes. Okay, I spent like $300 on Minecraft the last like year and a half because I can't tell it's a subscription, but we're always unsure if they're starting.
in order.
Something for me.
Alrighty. Today for announcements, we have Professor Manisiweeks and Farshid. Hajir. You can take the podium if you want.
Okay. Speaker Flanagan, thank you so much for giving us time today to speak to you about Mount Ida campus internship programs. And Professor Manisiweeks, who's from the Department of Political Science Division of Legal Studies, has designed a special program that we want to focus on. But I thought I would just take a moment, because I'm not sure if everyone's totally familiar with the Mount Ida campus, to talk about that. And before I go on, I just think it's important to acknowledge there may be a lot of feelings in the room about this week's election. And so, I just want to acknowledge that exists, and that you are all part of SGA. So you are participating in the democratic system set up for students by students on this campus. And I would like to say that all of us, we have a call to engage with our democratic systems with great energy and enthusiasm, and that's what this country has been built on. And so no matter where your political persuasions are, and whether you're upset or happy or neutral about the results, I think it's important to realize that you are committing at UMass Amherst to processes that hopefully you will maintain as a lifelong habit after you graduate. Okay, so thank you for letting me make that editorial announcement. So if you could advance the slide. So the Mount Ida campus was purchased by UMass Amherst in 2018. I was in the provost's office at the time, and so I was involved in the process. I'm quite familiar with the campus. It's a lovely campus in Newton. It's not in Boston itself, but it's in the greater Boston area. And it has quite a number of programs that run there. The signature program is the Vet Tech program, where the students in the Vet Tech major spend 2 years on the Amherst campus and their last 2 years at the Mount Ida campus. Could advance. So it has dormitories, beautiful classroom spaces that are very modern, and hybrid classrooms where you can have students at the Amherst campus participating in the same class as the Mount Ida campus. But the main idea for the campus, one of the main ideas, is to serve as an internship site where students can spend a semester at the campus and do internships in the greater Boston area. So why is it important to do internships in the Boston area as opposed to here? It's possible to do them here too, of course. But why was it a strategic decision on the part of the part of the university to buy a campus in the Boston area? Oh, you didn't realize I would ask questions?
Vice President Leone.
Vice President?
Better job opportunities and for the companies on it in the city.
Yeah, 75% of roughly of people and companies are in the greater Boston area. So it gives you access to a lot more companies there. Next. So internship for credit. Many students do internships during the summer and they get paid for it, which is wonderful. But that doesn't work necessarily for all students. So we have been working on designing more programs that fit into your academic program, into your major, and where you can earn credits. And what you would pay is just the same as you would pay here. UMass Dining operates there just like here. The dormitories are at the level of quality of the Commonwealth Honors College dorms, but you don't pay extra for them. And so what you would pay for tuition and fees, et cetera, is exactly the same. Next. And I'm trying to go through these fast so that there's more time for the actual academic component of the programs. So the residence hall, the main hall is New Hall. It's the one all the way to your left. If you could go forward. And so this is a great opportunity, is that transportation into the Boston area where your internship sites may be, or if you just want to go there to, go to museums or whatever you're doing in the town, is provided through and paid for through a number of means. But it includes, for example, you would get an Uber card and be able to just call an Uber and go where you need to go. And parking is free. I know that SGA cares a lot about parking tickets, which are quite expensive. No parking tickets on the campus there. So why are internships important? Or are internships important? What do you think? Yes, Senator Prabhakar. Oh, sorry. Did everybody hear that? Get lots of experience. And so employers tell us, so here's some data from discussions with employers. That on the left there, you see a number of criteria that employers use for evaluating candidates for jobs. And then what's listed are the level of importance that they place on those criteria. And you can see number 1 and number 2 have to do with internships. So I can't see the slides, so I have to go there.
You can bring the
Has
microphone.
completed an internship and has internship experience. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, so now I'd like to turn it over to the Professor Manisiewicz to talk about her particular program, which she has spent the last year preparing and is recruiting students for right now, and will be launched in spring 25.
Thank you so much for the invitation. So I am going to ask a really, really obvious question. How many of you are here because you care about law, government, or policy? Yeah, I figured. That's part of why I'm here. And I think that's part of why Rashid invited me to consider coming to talk with you, is because this program is very specially for people like yourselves. And so the Law and Policy Justice Program is a program that is aimed at giving you all credit for the kinds of internship opportunities that Rashid was talking about. So one of the things that's really great about it is that we try to smooth the process of getting access to internships. And so I have been speaking with lots of employer partners throughout the state, in the state, but primarily in the greater Boston area, in order to talk with them about the possibilities of being able to send undergraduate students. How many of you have tried to get an internship on your own? All right. Raise your hand if it was super easy. Okay. Raise your hand if it was moderately easy. All right. Raise your hand if it was a little difficult. Yeah, it's a little tricky, right? Especially if you are an undergraduate trying to get a law-related internship, because most law-related internships are actually reserved for people who are either in law school or have just graduated from law school and are law clerks. And so the Law and Policy Justice Program's purpose is to give you all increased access to these opportunities without you all having to go through all of that difficulty and all of that friction. Now, if you could go to the second slide, thank you. So the program details, as far as the first round of the pilot that we're running, because this is the first time that we will be running it, is in the spring semester. And we are recruiting a 25 student-strong cohort of folks who share these similar interests in a career in law, politics, policy, government, or social justice. And in other words, students just like yourselves. And the idea is that you apply for the program, and then having been admitted to the program, you would then be referred to one of our employer partners who will give you special consideration. And in some instances, the employer partners are giving you special consideration to positions that they already have and have posted in Handshake. But in most instances, they have created a program, an internship placement program for you all, specially with us. And so you would not have access to those internships positions without applying to the program, because they wouldn't exist if we hadn't been in this relationship and negotiation with the partners. And so it does give you this increased access to something that you might not otherwise have. So what makes you eligible? The key thing is that all of you are eligible, because even though these are law-related internships, we know that people go into law-related fields from all sorts of majors. And so I know that the representation here amongst people who you all put up your hands and said you're interested in law, politics, and policy, you all come from a variety of majors, and all majors are welcome to our program. And also all years are welcome to apply to our program. And as it happens, even though our priority deadline was October 10th, we have reserved special spots for you all. And so we have a couple of spots that we think would be very well filled by you all. And so I really do want to encourage you to apply if you are interested in pursuing an internship for credit. Last slide, please. And so I've told you all about these amazing internship opportunities that we have. In front of you now, you have the list of some of the sites that we have in place. So there's the Massachusetts Appeals Courts. There is the UMass Office of the General Counsel. There's the Council for the Committee for Public Counsel Services, which provides representation in criminal cases. And speaking about criminal trials and cases, we also have a partnership with the probation services. And then we also have some sort of quasi-corporate, quasi-government placements, like the Wayfair Government and Industry Affairs position, as well as the Justice Resource Institute, which leans towards much more of a social justice focus. So we really have tried to cover a wide berth of internship placements that provides an opportunity for people who are interested in the whole spectrum of opportunities that are law, politics, government, and social justice. And if you could go to the last slide, please. So I guess just to sum up, and then I'm going to hand back over to the dean. But basically, what we're inviting you to is an opportunity to come and do these internship programs with us, develop these professional skills in these courses that are for credit. And we've also built up a bunch of programming that is supportive and gives you opportunities to take other courses. And so, for instance, if you were to come to the Law and Policy Justice program and do a 9-credit internship plus the 4-credit course, most of you would get major credit for at least some of your internship credits, and you would get major credit for the course, the core course itself. And so let's say you get 8 credits from the combination of those two things, and then you would have another 5 credits within that would allow you to that would go towards your degree in general. And then you could also take a UWW course, which you're able to do for no additional cost, or you could take one of the professional skills courses that's made available, again, for no additional cost. So we really do encourage you to apply. And again, remember, we have some spots that are specially saved for you. And so I hope that I will be receiving an application from some of you sooner rather than later. And if in fact, the spring doesn't turn out to work out for you, we will be running it in the next cycle as well. And in any case, if you apply and then are not able to be admitted, we also are keeping a wait list. And so we will keep you in mind for sure.
Okay, thank you. I just want to go for another minute, a couple of more slides. There's lots of student life activities there. So all kinds of SACL activities that you have here, they exist in modified version and have a lot to do with going into Boston. And some of you are from the Boston area, so you're familiar with them, but many of you are not. And so that would be an exciting part of the experience. Next slide. And I wanted to tell you about 2 other such programs in case this particular program doesn't fit with your academic program or interests. If you're a psychology or major, there's a program just like this one that actually predates it from psychological and brain sciences and takes place both in the fall and in the spring. So if your spring plans are already made, but you're interested in this, there's a fall option here also. Next slide. And there's also a third new program, which is with civic engagement and service learning. Has anybody heard of this? CECL? Anyone familiar? It's where you get to do volunteer work in the community and earn credit for it in a supported environment. And it's a very similar kind of program. And if we had more time, I would love to tell you more, but if you could go to the next slide. Here's some pictures of students and testimonials from prior years of these kinds of programs. Students cite the small campus. Next slide. I think this might be the last one. I just want to read you this one quote from a student, and I was present in the meeting where she said this. It was like, I went from solely being a student ID number to being a scholar with an entire world of opportunities waiting for me. Never in the entire 4 years of my college career have I ever felt so supported and so seen. LEAD, which is the name of the PBS program, was the college experience I never knew I needed. So I hope you'll consider and ask more questions. I realize I should have said who I was. Many of you know me, but in case you don't know who is the rando who sits in the back, I'm Farshid Hajir, Senior Vice Provost and Dean of Undergrad Education. I'm a math professor. So if you have any questions about this, you can contact either of us. And thank you for the time. And we'd love to answer any questions if there were any.
Any questions? Yes, Chair Tran. Can we use the microphones? Someone pass them down a microphone.
Was it about international students? So, okay, now I heard the international students. Go ahead.
Okay. I would love to ask, do you guys like sponsor international student, or is that up to like the company who gonna like hire?
There are at times some restrictions, but that's something that we could work out the details in any individual case.
Got you. Thank you.
We actually have some international students who have applied in this cycle, and because they're doing the internships for credit, they're somehow grandfathered in through their existing sort of permissions to be on campus.
Additional questions? Vice President Leone?
Is there like a GPA requirement for this program, or?
Great question. No, there is not. I think what the dean talked about in terms of thinking about every case individually is what we have emphasized, which is part of why we don't even have a requirement in terms of having to be a sophomore, because we actually know that there are a lot of students, for instance, who come in their freshman year with a lot of credits from high school, et cetera. And so we've really tailored it in such a way that, every student is welcome, and we are engaging with them and their advisors and the career advisors as well in order to make sure that we are meeting that student's needs. And every student, no matter what their GPA is, needs to be able to, get a job once they're done. And that's part of what we're prioritizing in this program. And so we're going to work with you in order to help you, tee up the right kind of internship where it's a positive match and a positive experience between you and the employer partner.
Any further questions? All right. Thank you. you.
And I'd just like to suggest also, this is something we can talk to Colin and Dale and others about, that a trip for SGA to the Mount Ida campus can definitely be arranged. And there's regular transportation from this campus to the Mount Ida campus also. And I think holding an SGA meeting at the Mount Ida campus would be a really fun thing to think about.
So speaking of trips, we actually have one that's planned for this Friday for folks who have already applied to the Law and Policy Justice Program. So if you're maybe flirting with the idea, feel free to drop me an email. My email address is at the end of this flyer, and I think we could potentially get you on that trip as well.
And this flyer is provided in the supplemental materials folder, along with the presentation. Excellent, thank you. Alrighty. Is any other individual seek recognition to make an announcement? Cool. There being no further announcements, I will be taking roll call tonight. Alrighty. Get situated here. Senator Adeni. Adeni present. Alamanji. Alamanji absent. Anim. Anim absent. Bloom. Bloom present. Borowski. Borowski absent. Butasova. Butasova absent. Centenaro. Centenaro present. DeMarco. DeMarco present. Dami. Dami present. Duarte. Duarte absent. Dvavetti.
Here.
Dvavetti present. Easy.
Here.
Easy present. Germain. Germain present. Espinal. Espinal present. Hernandani. Hernandani present. Ibrahim. Ibrahim present. Imran. Imran present. Jameh. Jameh absent. Kim. Kim absent. Kumar. Kumar absent. Lakeway. Lakeway absent. Lewis. Lewis absent. Molesky.
Here.
Molesky present. Malari. Malari absent. Manda. Manda absent. Manakandan. Manakandan absent. Mazando.
Here.
Mazando present. Mello. Mello present. Nevins.
Here.
Nevins present. Win. Win absent. Onyeka. Onyeka present. Patel. Patel absent. Patak. Patak absent. Pastorello. Pastorello absent. Fan. Fan present. Prabhakaran. Prabhakaran absent. Prabhakar. Prabhakar present. Rabin. Rabin present. Rue. Rue present. Sarna. Sarna present. Sharma. Sharma present. Stamen. Stamen present. Silverio. Silverio absent. Strong. Strong present. Tamkin. Tamkin present. Tao. Tao present. Trung. Trung absent. Burma. Burma. Trung. Trung's here. Verma. Okay. Trung present. Verma present. Wu. Wu present. All right. 32 voting members. A quorum is present. Yes. Applause. All righty. The minutes from the last Senate meeting were sent out to all 48 hours prior. All those, are there any corrections to the minutes? All right, with no corrections, the minutes stand approved without objection. On to officer reports. Let me update this. All right. Trustee Oliveira is recognized. Okay. President. Okay. Could you use a microphone? Just so we have it on the live stream.
Hi guys. Okay. Okay, so I hope everyone's classes are going well and our heads are not spinning after yesterday night. So just a little bit on what I've been doing. So I've been preparing for the meeting with Mass Perk and the Department of Higher Education, which is scheduled for November 21st. During this meeting, they're going to be presenting the initiative that we approved at our last discussion in the last Senate meeting, which was that initiative for the $2 million that they'll be asking for. In addition to that, oh, by the way, that meeting is also open to everyone. It's November 21st. We're also providing rides. I'll be carpooling, so if anyone wants to come along, just let me know. Other than that, now the Mass Perk formula has been finalized and everyone knows about that. I've been trying to push more for the housing again. So I'm meeting with Chancellor Reyes tomorrow. So from what we've talked about so far, we're going to strategize on how we can raise awareness with more of the Amherst community rather than just going straight to the state, because now this is becoming a citywide problem. So while there's been requests for people saying build additional housing, that's a long-term solution, and I know he's trying to adjust something immediate. So the key to moving forward, we're going to try to encourage greater involvement with the town of Hadley and Amherst. We're trying to see if they're going to be able to support our campus community and address critical issues. And by doing this, I'm hoping to meet with the town. I know Reyes is going to initiate that first communication, and then hopefully we can get a meeting with them before the semester ends, just so get some pricing or however they want to do it. I'm open to all ears, but just hopefully if the city can take some of our students, it'll kind of kill the crisis on campus. But that's about it. Thanks, guys. Any questions?
Senator Prabhakar.
I was just wondering if you had an update on the SAL meeting from last week.
Are you talking to what we approved for the meeting?
Point of information that wouldn't be publicity. She's on Saul. Yeah, Lanya or call her Mike. Explain it what happened. Or Maya.
What?
From Saul. We were at Saul today.
Oh yeah.
So,
Chair Stamen.
Yeah,
sure.
Or-
guys closer.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sorry, you're not.
Chair Mazzano.
So this is about Seoul?
Just an update.
Okay, so
Should we save this for perhaps your
for my
report out?
report, yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's table it for my report.
Any questions for the trustee? Okay. President Humphries.
Hi, everybody. So my planned report out is up there. This mic's not very good. I'm going to switch to this one. Hi, everybody. Oh, that's much better. So my normal report out is up there. However, I do want to take a few moments to address yesterday's election, so please bear with me. I'm sure that right now there's probably a pretty wide range of emotions here in the room, as well as across our campus. And I do want to first recognize that, and I want to remind everybody to take care of yourselves this week and the coming weeks. Be there for each other. Check in on your friends, check in on your peers, check in on your classmates, check in on the people on your floors. I think that's extremely important right now. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty that comes with a new administration, and I'm sure after speaking with many of you today, I think there are a lot of people who are feeling nervous, who are feeling upset. Some might be happy, but I think ultimately the important thing and I really liked what Farshid said, is that we're all here today. We got this wonderful group of people here participating in our democratic process. So it can be very easy to get discouraged about things that are going on around the country right now. But we have an amazing group of people here today. We're all here because we want to make a difference for the students. And, I do want to let you know that as your president, I'm going to continue to fight for the students day in and day out. And I am going to be holding some space tomorrow from 5:30 to 7 in the office. I'm going to bring cookies and hot cocoa if anybody wants to drop in to talk. Please feel free. However, I think we have a great group of people here, and I feel confident that we are going to get through this together. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Leone. Yeah.
So I put in my report out. I didn't think we'd get the election results this fast, but we did. So chunk one, so we'll move forward with that. I'm very happy to vote yes on all the 5 Massachusetts ballot initiatives. Unfortunately, 2 went no, but I'm very happy question 1, 2, 3 went yes, and I'm happy and hope that everyone here in the room voted. What else? The main thing I also mentioned in my report about the election, and that I also wanted to mention right now, is that, let me find it, give me 1 second. Okay, so basically I said, I hope folks grasp the idea that being fully engaged in our civic process isn't just showing up to vote every 4 years. It also involves, protesting. It also involves community organizing in other ways. So I just want to encourage people, to, if they're upset or they want to see more change in our society moving forward, to collaborate with other student groups that try to create advocacy on our campus. We have SEPA that does that, for example. They're a great agency, and we have other also groups that fight for making change. So I wanted to mention that real quick, and I wanted to give a little update on some things that we're doing this week. I'm meeting with Dean Cardoso from the Dean of Students office tomorrow about the code of conduct renewal that we're doing in the next few months. So tomorrow's meeting just kind of making sure that we're both on the same page, us students and the Dean of Students office, for the work that we're going to be engaging in moving forward. And tonight or tomorrow, I'll be following up with the Board of Trustees surrounding divestment and hopefully starting to create more conversations and open dialogue surrounding divestment and what that could possibly look like here at UMass. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's dark out right now. It was dark when we got here. It's going to be dark out when we leave. So that's going to be quite an adjustment. But it's that time of year. Yeah, I guess my report is in the reports packet. But I made some progress with the electronic voting system. Figured out the program. We're now in communication with the Vice Chancellor for Technology. See how they can support us with this. I'm also going to be speaking on behalf of Melina here. Melina is taking a test right now, so I want everyone to wish her good luck. So I'm kind of taking up some of those responsibilities tonight, so bear with me. But yeah, everything is in my reports. Last week was eventful with the SATF reform, or discussing SATF reforms with the Vice Chancellor, meeting about registry reforms, one-on-ones with the chairs, all of that. But yeah, if anyone wants to help out with any Senate chamber enhancement projects, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to have some additional help. But any questions? Cool. All right. The Chief Justice, I don't see her. Residence Hall Association President.
Hi everyone. Currently,
flip up.
So currently, my team and I were working on going over to a conference in New York next week. It's called Neoccur. We're currently preparing for it and all the challenges with it. Then on elections for project managers start next week. And yeah, I think that's about it. Also, I'm talking with Jean McKinney tomorrow morning. So if you have any suggestions on what to bring up, please let me know. And in case you are not aware of who Jean McKinney is, she is the Residence Life Director. Thank you, guys.
Any questions? Thank you. All right. Any RSO Council presidents may be recognized? Chief of Staff, Nassar. Yeah.
Hey everyone, I submitted my report out. I don't have any crazy updates for you on that. Just a reminder that if you did want anything to be purchased for the office, I'm sending that purchase request tomorrow. So that is the final day that you'll be able to send it in. Obviously, throughout the semester, if things come up, you can also just let me know and we can form another one. Also, as I mentioned in my report out, the office managers and deputy chief of staff have been approved by administrative affairs. So you'll see a motion for the office managers on that. And I wanted to announce my deputy chief of staff as Naomi Bloom, our very own. So if we could just get a round of applause. Any questions on anything else? All right, thank you.
Thanks. Secretary Bellerive.
Hi, everyone. My report's all up there. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Merchants. Attorney General Urvanga.
Hello, everyone. Biggest thing I did this week was hire my undersecretary. His name is Jack McDermott. He's not here today, but I'll be meeting him tomorrow. And I also attended the registry working group with Speaker Flanagan, President Humphreys, Secretary Merchant, where we started the kickoff for the registry reforms.
Any questions? Thank you. Secretary Vitale. Secretary Hevlo. I don't see Kenyon on Zoom. Secretary Hevlo.
Hey guys, I'm Anaya tonight. Basically, she is hiring her undersecretary right now, and she is just getting multicultural night kind of finished up, and we have more DIA fund submissions, so we'll have another meeting for the DIA fund committee soon. Any questions? Cool.
Thank you. Secretary Sharda.
Basically, like we started kind of getting with the RSOs and tagging their equipment. So one RSO is done, and hopefully the rest of them are done by Thanksgiving break. Questions?
Thank you. Secretary Nicholson. Secretary DeRose.
I have Carol's. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is well. Today we had our first Earth Day planning meeting, which was productive, and we're scheduling our next one, so let me know if that is something you'd like to be in on. I am meeting with the Makerspace supervisor tomorrow to schedule a bonding event for us all. I also met with Ava, a fellow from Sustainable UMass, to discuss the new to you thrift store. Make sure you all attend the Food Security and Basic Needs Fair on November 12th from 4 to 6:30 p.m., as well as the Snacks and Sustainability event this Thursday from 10 to 12 at the Old Chapel Common Room.
Any questions? Thank you. Secretary Goodchild.
So just to start off, I have a Veterans Day event Friday from 11 to 2. I'd love to see some of you guys there. There'll be food, catering, food. So if you like food, it's a good place to be. We're also showing a movie, and then there'll be a little discussion after. It's obviously veteran oriented, but I'd love to see some SGA faces there because shout out Charon Yucca. Actually, she came to my veterans voting education tabling event. And I heard a lot of good things from veterans, and they were very happy to see someone that wasn't me from SGA. So I'd love to see some of you guys there. It's 11 to 2 in the Student Veteran Resource Center in the basement. That's in Dickinson Hall. And then I've been continuing. I think I had one candidate lunch on Friday, and I spent time filling out surveys for my reflections on those candidates, and that's for the Ombuds office. I also finally got a meeting in with the Air Force, which is awesome. I met with them today. We had like a 2-hour long meeting. Just great to like talk to them and hear from them, and share what I've been working on and hear what they'd like to be worked on. And it was just a really good stepping stone, and there's a lot of new initiatives that'll come from that. And then I also scheduled a meeting with the dining director regarding my Veterans Food Insecurity Initiative, thanks to help with Colin and Dale. I also had my office hours on Tuesday in the Student Veteran Resource Center, and I spoke to the director of the Student Veteran Resource Center for quite some time. And he is assisting me a lot on my projects, and we also finalized the Veterans Day event. I also submitted stuff to the SGA newsletter and the newsletter that was going out to everybody. I also have a meeting with Colin regarding some ideas I have for some community space for veterans. But I've been working on my bylaws with Ryan. Met with SLSO, I believe, right, Ryan? Yeah. And then I also have been added on to this board called Voice, which is for all different student groups and such. And there's an event, a Walk for Light event with that I'm going to this week. And then I've also been doing grassroots efforts with ROTC because I've been doing a lot of work with older veterans, not so much younger active duty people. So I'm trying to work with ROTC more, and I got a phone number and an email, and I'm meeting with someone from ROTC to try to get the ball rolling on that. And there's some more stuff, but I don't want to bore everybody. That's the main thing. So thank you guys. Somebody have any questions? Please show up to my event. Thank you.
Thank you. Secretary Manyanga. Any faculty senate representatives may be recognized? Chairman Zondo.
All right. Hey, y'all. So as mentioned earlier, me and also some of the other executive and legislative leaders went to the SOL Faculty Senate meeting. And so pretty much I'm just going to recap what happened. So we made a number of changes to the current picketing code. First was adding a paragraph about identification and how if you don't have identification or don't reveal your identification, you may be responsible as like a non-UMass community student. But the emphasis that we changed was the may. It used to be will, but now it's may, which is, I feel like, a super important distinction. Next, we added a sentence about counter protests, making sure that those are also under like in our picketing code, because it is important as our First Amendment right to protest, but also counter protest, but obviously in a safe way that is safe for the community. All right, the third thing is keeping the phrase substantial disorder. There was a lot of discussion about this, but overall, the consensus was that because this wording substantial disorder comes from Tinker v. Des Moines, which is a Supreme Court case, it should be kept in order to not bamboozle students who didn't know that this was language that was in the picketing code, because we feel like having this substantial disorder, though the actual Supreme Court is vague, is helpful in making sure that at least students know that this was something that they could have been a reason for why they might have been shut down. And then the last thing, very super simple, just removing the sentence, campus buildings are for university business. Again, it's vague and it doesn't encapsulate all we do on this campus, but yeah. Next thing we'll be tackling is the implementation procedures for the regulation of the use of property, or implementation of the land use policy, which I know a lot of you guys are interested in, and a demonstration policy. So yeah.
Any questions? Chair Stamen. Point of clarification.
That was also on this committee. For the substantial disorder, we also, so this word, we tried to clear, this term, phrase, we tried to clearly define it. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a concrete definition that was present within Massachusetts general law and just from the court case that Kundai just referenced. So we are going to be trying to see if we can find a nice way to implement this. So as Kundai said, it's not bamboozling students, and we're keeping the university accountable, and we have some checks and balances in place moving forward.
Vice President Leone.
Just like a point of information too, I'm going to be switching on the SOL committee, but I mentioned that because some of the languages may seem like a little like vague or maybe like problematic. So like moving forward, what the SOL council is going to be focusing on is like the implementation of these policies and making sure that how the policies are implemented, that they reflect like the will of the student body essentially. So I just wanted to make that known that even if some people have some concerns with some things moving forward, the focus is going to be like the implementation of these policies.
Any questions or points? Okay, thank you. Any additional faculty senate representatives? Any ESO event representatives? Any advisory board representatives? Vice President Leone.
I attended the SACO SAB last week, and so we discussed SOSO, their case numbers. So we're going to look for more information about that. Go back to SOSO to try to understand like some of the cases that they've received the past few years. We also discussed the housing process for next year. It's going to kind of stay the same. They're working with the town of Amherst, like Felicity said earlier, of trying to make more off-campus housing. And so one thing that Jean McKinney said, Director of Residential Life, she said that if you're applying for on-campus housing next year and you don't get it right away, stay in the process throughout all of summer. They will work with you to try to make sure that you get on-campus housing next year. I don't know if they'll fully guarantee that, but we'll push them to make sure that students that request on-campus housing that will find a place for them on campus. Those are kind of the two main things that I can remember off the top of my head, but any questions, please come back to me and I can relay them back to the rest of the SAB committee. Cool.
Thank you. All right, Senate committee reports. Chair Rabin.
Hi everyone, my report out is up there. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay.
Thank you. Chair Centenaro.
Hi guys, hope you're all having a good evening. Oh, sorry. I don't have much to report from AA, but I do want to congratulate Urja. I've hired her as my vice chair and Cody as the chair of rules and ethics for this year. So I'm really, really excited to work with both of them and the rest of my amazing committee. We have a lot of fun and exciting things we're going to work on this year. But in addition, I've also reached out to potential senators to join the Rules and Ethics Committee. So we're kind of going to get the ball rolling for that. But besides that, that's all I really have. 2 motions up today or few AA. That's it. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Sarno.
Hey everyone, my report out's up there. Internal development met on Sunday. We're just working on the newsletter and stuff, and we're also going to have a little bonding activity during Committee of the Whole. It's not going to take long, I promise, and it's really fun. But if you have any questions, just send me an email.
Vice President Leone.
Do you think you could explain what the Internal Sub-Development Committee is? I just butchered the word, but could you explain what it is and try to get
Internal development.
and if anybody has interest, how could they potentially join?
Yeah, thanks for the question. So Internal Development Select Subcommittee essentially just works on
just improving the Senate chamber, just increasing kind of member retention, like just coming up with different ideas to like just increase the bond between members. We also have like we're planning like a bonding lunch later this month. If you're interested, just send me an email. It was like floated at the beginning of like Senate training when we had that. And the people who were interested, I reached out to them. Some of them got back and now we're all working. But if you guys are interested, we are planning a lot of fun stuff. So if you guys are interested, just send me an email.
Any further questions? Thank you. Chair Nika.
Hi, everyone. My reporter is up there. Hope everyone's doing okay. Just want to set a reminder to check in with yourself, check in with your people. If you're feeling any feelings and you want to talk, I'm always here. I know this is kind of a hard time for a lot of us, so please feel free to reach out to me in any way. Any questions? Okay.
Chair Tran.
Hi everybody. My report is out. I'm still proceeding the CAP process, and some of the RSO did not respond, so I reached out to SARS to contact them as well for the advisor. So it's doing pretty okay. Yeah, we're gonna schedule the meeting next week, and yeah, I also have a meeting with the task force that I feel like you guys gonna say that, like announce that later. So task force to reform the registry process, and I also appoint Leo Nguyen as my vice chair, and also I'm created the subcommittee currently right now called Small RSO. So I appoint Julia as my chair, and she's just gonna talk a little bit about the subcommittee and give you guys a little bit more context about that.
Hi, everyone. So basically, the small RSO subcommittee, we're trying to create a new type of RSO this spring. They're like smaller RSOs, so they involve a little bit less funding, a little bit less of the process for application. So it's really good for students who just kind of want to make like, connections on campus and spread their purpose, but don't really need as much funding. So I'm looking for members of the subcommittee. There's a couple people who have expressed interest, but if anyone is interested in joining, reach out to me or hi. And yeah, I'm very excited.
Any question?
Thank you. Chair Mazzando.
All right. Hi, everyone. Before my report's out there, but I do have more updates. So from when I first uploaded the report. But before I start with that, I feel like it's very important to mention, as you guys know, I've been really keen on getting the vote out there and really on elections. So I feel like I need to say this. But regardless of what happened, I hope all of you guys realize that your power as SGA officers and senators is that you guys are in a role not to be passive, which is important. And I hope regardless of how this went for you, that being involved in the democratic process and the democratic system helps you guys to become more engaged in SGA, because we have over 23,000 constituents at our hands that we need to take care of, and people we can make a difference in their lives. So I hope you all take that to heart, work hard, and deliver for the community. Now, onto what we're doing in USC. So right now we're focusing on safety and accessibility. I had a meeting with Chief Parham, the Chief of Police of the UMPD, on Monday, where we discussed measures on specifically with bathrooms in residential halls that aren't suites or apartments, like a lot of Southwest, Orchard Hill, Central, Northeast places, on how to better secure those bathrooms to guide away any distasteful behavior towards them. So right now, me and my committee are trying to create plans and investigate these bathrooms to make sure that nothing suspicious can happen before renovations start. Also, speaking of accessibility and safety, the Walk for Light is tomorrow at 5:30. We're going to meet outside the Student Union, and we encourage you all to go there. We're going to walk around campus, see what's not accessible, and see what could be better lighted, or pretty much make renovations on how to make walking around UMass safer, because that's always something needed. People from disability services will be there, administrators will be there, I'll be there. So if you need a reason to go, know that at least you have me there, and I'll be And I'll be out there making sure, with also my other senators and my new vice chair, Jacob Nevins. Everyone give him a round of applause. We'll be out there, fighting for accessibility. And I think that's it. Yeah, any questions? All right.
Thank you. Chair Stamen.
Hello, everybody. So long report out, but I'm going to try and summarize for y'all. We had a meeting with Shelley Perdomo, the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, to talk about SATF reforms. I brought up some of the SATF reforms you saw during our presentation, as well as a couple new initiatives that I thought of last week to add on to this list. And that list seems to be growing by the day. But yes, the other thing is, as I have been saying in a couple of Senate meetings, SACO Finance and I opened up communication with the agencies, and that has gone really, really well. We're finishing those up right now, and we're going to be continuing that line of communication as they are adjusting their budgeting philosophies. And we will also be adjusting our budgeting process for the agencies, going to be a little bit more transparent moving forward, and to make sure we're supporting our agencies the best way they can, given that they serve the entire UMass community. If you have any questions about that, I'm more than happy to answer. Chair Sharma and I also met. We went over her bylaws, Title 6, Chapter 11, to be specific, if we have some bylaw nerds in the room. We noticed that there were a couple inconsistencies in there regarding our emergency funding process. I'm sure she'll talk more about that later. But we are working with Speaker Flanagan and also SLSO to amend these. So you'll probably see this as a motion coming up in Senate sometime soon. But this was long overdue, guys. The stuff in there, I don't even have documents dating back to like when can't find the documents from when we did that. So the other thing is I've been looking into the budgeting processes that other Ways and Means chairs have done in the past, trying to see if we can even reform our Ways and Means process to make it a little bit more strict and keeping RSOs and student groups accountable regarding their finances. That effort is still continuing, so I will have more updates later on, possibly next week. I have also been reaching out to a lot of the advisors. I noticed that the conversations with the agencies went really well, and decided to see if we can increase transparency, get to the root of the problem, find out what's going on with our student groups, our RSOs, how across the board cuts are affecting them, what kind of financial decisions we're making, and investments. Because there were a couple of things that came across budgets in the past that was a little eyebrow raising. And so I start with club sports this week, and I will be continuing on to cultural and service and religious. So stay tuned for that. And those conversations are also bearing fruit. So hopefully we'll have some other initiatives coming out of those that will put less of a strain on our SATF. That was a lot of me talking, but that is basically it. Any questions? None? Fantastic.
Thank you. Chair Sharma.
Hi everyone. So as Maya, Chair Stamen covered that I've been working on amending my bylaws. I met with Speaker Flanagan last week, and hopefully I'll be meeting with Attorney Farrell this week to see if any changes are made. My report is pretty much out there, so I don't have anything else going on with Finance Subcommittee, but I'm just trying to make my bylaws like more detailed and adding like circumstances about the unforeseen part, and how we need like an advisory board meeting before it passes through committee meeting. So these are just some of the changes I've been making in my bylaws.
Any questions? Thank you. On to the SGA advisor. Advisor Ferrer is recognized.
Soccer skills coming down. You see? Just got it. Thank you.
I just first I want to echo Vice Provost Hajir's words. Know that we're here. We're here to support you. I'm also here. If you guys need anything, please send me an email so we can sit down and talk. Like I told folks, I'm here early in the morning. I can stay late, so just let me know. You know, the feelings you haven't run out. They're your feelings. You know, do what you need to do with it. But ultimately, you came here to go to school, do your academics, and that's what we want you to do. But know that you have support for you in different ways. Two pieces of good news that I want to bring into the conversation. One is the new advisor for the source just started this week, so there's full time, so additional support for our SOs, and she'll be taking over two of the councils. And the second thing is thank you to all who came to the interview for the candidate for the associate director for student governance, Mr. JP De Loreto. Thank you for all of those who send in their what's the name of it? Send in their ideas. Yeah, feedback. There we go. Feedback. Overwhelmingly positive. So the idea now, next steps is for me to check the references and hopefully everything will pan out, and we'll be making an offer to him and hopefully get him here as soon as we can. So overwhelmingly positive responses by everyone who met with him, and the feedback, pretty much everybody was like, hire him. So that's what we plan on doing. We hope he accepts our offer and we'll go from there. So thank you. Have a good night.
Any questions?
Questions? Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Does there exist a reason to call into session the committee of the whole? For what reason does there exist to call into session? Bonding, and we have a Title VI presentation. All right. The Senate will stand in recess and the committee of the whole shall be in session to discuss bonding and the Title VI presentation. Just a few reminders. When committee of the whole is called in session, parliamentary procedure is suspended, and the Senate may not take any votes or actions. Please welcome Carrie Tillett. She's the Associate Vice Chancellor for Equal Opportunity and Access.
I'm gonna need a little more energy from you all. So I missed what Farshid said, but I want to offer myself also as a resource to students. I feel like I'm a little known resource, but hopefully after today that'll change. My name is Carrie Tillett, the Associate Vice Chancellor for Equal Opportunity and Access. In my role, I oversee basically equal opportunity programs, the civil rights programs, complaints, activities that faculty, staff, and students would file against the university. So I'm the Title VI coordinator, I'm the Title VII coordinator, I'm the Title IX coordinator, and I'm also the Title II/ADA compliance officer. All those things are what I do to support students on campus. So if you didn't know before, you know who I am today. I have 3 goals. There's just 3 questions I want you all to be able to answer after I'm finished with my very brief presentation. 1, who I am. 2, what is Title VI? And 3, just some examples of what Title VI is. This is a conversation, and I really want to leave enough time for us to talk about the substance of what my presentation is on. Is that okay? Thank you. I appreciate your thumbs up. Do you want me to? So I've already told you by now, take a picture of this slide. I'm gonna, hopefully you'll get it emailed to you later, but like I said, I do want people to know how to reach me. My email address is there directly. Feel free to email me with any questions, concerns, criticisms, whatever feedback or questions this conversation might generate today. So how many know what Title VI is? Maybe you already know it and you can answer that question. How many know what Title VI is? How many know what Title IX is? Everybody knows Title IX. What's Title IX? Just yell it out. Somebody yell it out. I saw some hands, so I can pick on some hands. Yes. No. There's no wrong answer. Title IX is sex discrimination. So sexual assault, stalking, domestic violence. My professor treats me different because I'm a female. Anything sex discrimination is Title IX. My office receives Title IX complaints. Parenthetically, the University of Massachusetts is a campus where every faculty, staff, and administrative professional must report Title IX complaints to my office, EOA. So I don't know how many knew that, but that became law as of August 1st. Everybody, every professional, every faculty member, every staff member, every administrative officer on campus must report instances of sex discrimination when they find out about it. But we're here to talk about Title VI. No one knows what Title VI is? We're about to tell you. Title VI of the Civil Rights Act is this. No person, and by person on our campus, that means faculty, staff, or student. So anybody on our campus shall, on the basis of race, color, and national origin, they shall not be excluded from participating in, be denied the benefits of, or otherwise subjected to discrimination under any program or activity at UMass. So it applies to everybody on campus, not just students, faculty, staff, and students. The three bases of Title VI are race, color, and national origin. Parenthetically, the other titles that our office administers covers the other protected categories. So there's Title IX, there's Title VII, and there's ADA. Title VI covers race, color, and national origin. And what I say, this is just not about Black people, where Black people can be included, but race covers all races, colors, and national origin. Just a little redundant here, but Title VI covers these categories, and most recently, shared ancestry was clarified as a result of some of the unrest that we're seeing on college campuses. How many know that right now the university is defending 2 Title VI complaints? Okay, tell me what you know. I know you want to talk. Actually, get your own mic.
One thing I do know is that last semester, I think it was the Civil Rights Office of Equity and Inclusion for the federal government opened an investigation against the university. I believe for discrimination against Arab Americans and Palestinian Americans. I also believe there's a separate one open for Jewish students, Jewish Americans, and one in general about anti-Semitism.
Yep, so you all heard that. Right now, the university is defending 2 separate Title VI complaints. They're alleging that the university discriminated against students based upon national origin, shared Jewish ancestry, by not responding to incidents of harassment. There's another Title VI complaint alleging that UMass discriminated against students based on national origin, Muslim, Palestinian, Arab, by not responding to incidents of discrimination. So right now, this is a real issue on all college campuses. I'm sure you all were following the news last year where a lot of college presidents were going through because students were protesting, students were not feeling as though their concerns were being addressed by university administration, and as a result, the students filed at the federal level, and now many universities are in the same boat as UMass Amherst, and that is defending allegations of national origin discrimination, in our instance, on both sides. So we've got an anti-Semitism complaint, and on the other side, we're defending a pro-Palestinian complaint. I don't want to dig or give you too much detail because, again, I just wanted you all to know, A, who I am, what Title VI is, how that's really manifesting itself on our campus. And this is just how we evaluate complaints that are filed under Title VI. One has to do with intentional discrimination, where a person, yourself, could allege that you're being treated differently because of your national origin, in the context of how you're receiving your education here at UMass. The complaints that we are currently defending are more around hostile environment and allegations that there were situations that took place on our campus where students didn't believe that the appropriate response was initiated. And now as a result of that, we're again defending 2 complaints of Title VI discrimination. Some examples. Again, I don't want to insult your intelligence by reading, but these are just some of the examples that OCR has provided to show what Title VI discrimination could look like on a college campus. Does that sound familiar to you all? Right? Instances of swastikas on whiteboards, Muslim students being singled out in a classroom because of the concerns that they represent a greater threat as compared to white students. Professors grading papers of Arab students differently or more harshly than other students. These are very difficult complaints to investigate. These complaints don't take a week, 2 weeks, 2 months. They typically involve a lot of people to interview. I have an investigative staff that does those interviews, and they take time. A lot of people think that once you file a complaint with us, it's going to be done in 30 days, and that's not the case. These complaints are very involved, and we never want to be accused of thinly investigating allegations of discrimination, because we take our jobs very seriously, and we want to make sure that those who need the services of our offices are getting the benefit of very thorough investigations. What I think is important to know also that OCR is investigating a lot of universities because of allegations of national origin discrimination. And OCR has put an amazing burden on universities to make sure that we're doing right by our students. There's an example that's provided before you where students, Israeli and Jewish students, were feeling singled out, anti-Semitic threats, slurs via social media, texting, messages basically saying that Hitler got it right. After receiving these messages and reporting the message to college administrators, the students missed class, needed mental health support, went to campus clinic, and in one situation, a student could not finish the semester in person and had to pivot to remote. The following week, the college issued a statement condemning anti-Semitism and denouncing the message as not aligned with the college views. That's it. The college doesn't do any further investigation, and a complaint goes to OCR. So based on those facts, do you think the university did enough? You're shaking your head. Talk to me. You. It's not on. Yep. Yep, thank you.
The college didn't take any active measures to reach out to these students and seek a way to make sure they're feeling better about their situation and creating a more safer environment for them on campus.
Yes, you've been reading some of the OCR resolution agreements. A statement is not enough. The university must do more in order to satisfy the requirements under Title VI. This is what OCR wants universities to do. And what I tell people, this is an amazing responsibility to end harassment, eliminate it, and prevent it. Like if I had that much power, I wouldn't be working here at UMass, because I would just poof, solve the world problems and things would be amazing, right? It's an amazing responsibility that OCR puts on university administrators to correct incidents of Title VI discrimination. So we get the complaint, we may or may not issue a statement, but the first thing that we're going to do is reach out to the students for support to see what the student needs to continue to persist. What does that mean? Do we need to alter classes? Do we need to change the students' living environment? Do we need to change the work environment? We have to do more than issue statements. We have to actually work with our campus partners to end the harassment, to eliminate the hostile environments and their effects, and also prevent it from reoccurring. But what I like you all to take away from this slide as well is that it takes all of us on a college campus to do our piece to make sure that our campus is one that is welcoming and inviting. It's not just administration's job. It's all of us working together to do our part to make sure that we're doing the things on this slide, doing all the things, right? Respecting cultural and racial differences, modeling professional behavior in terms of our conduct and our speech, promoting inclusive culture. I would love to speak to your SDEI advisor. What was her? She wasn't here tonight, but she had a slide. What was her name? Anaya, right? So I'm sure that some of the things Anaya is doing is trying to promote an inclusive culture on our campus. Learn your university policies. We've got campus policies that are designed to assist and support in creating spaces that are inclusive, inclusive. Also seek guidance from us, administrators, myself, Sid, Farshid, Shelly, all of us are here to be partners with you to make sure our campus is one that really embodies an inclusive environment. And finally, report instances of discrimination to EOA. I'm not trying to drum up business, but I really think it's important that whenever you all are having concerns or feelings about the learning environment and maybe believe that there's just something not quite right here, I'd love to talk about it. Let's talk about it and have a conversation and see how we can be proactive to address situations of discrimination that come up in this environment. Is that a deal? And this is it. So my name is, not you, Dale. My name is, thank you. Title VI is, what is Title VI? What does Title VI cover? Okay, and which 3 categories? All right, I need some candy. Race, color, national origin. Give me just one example of how everyone in this room can help to create, can help to create inclusive environments in our space. What's an example? What can you do? Again, what's that? You can report it. What else can you do? Again, all of you all have your own spheres of influence, right? So what are you doing personally to make sure that the spaces you're in are inclusive? It takes all of us working together to make this a campus that really does embrace the unique diversity that exists on our campus. We have to work together to get that done. Thank you. Any questions? I'm sorry. Please, a question. Please, please. Thank you. Yes.
Outside of investigations, is the Equal Opportunity and Access Office doing anything to address campus climate and make students feel safer, specifically these 2 groups, since we talked about these investigations?
Yes, thank you for your question. And actually, it's foretelling, right? My office, the Office of Equal Opportunity, will be joining or will become a part of the Office of Equity and Inclusion as of November 18th. And I see this as an amazing partnership because one side of the house will investigate, but the other side of the house helps to address and respond to climate issues. And I do know that the new Vice Chancellor, Marcia McGriff, is already brainstorming around ways that we can act or be a campus that really embraces our difference, most specifically right now, that of anti-Semitism. So that's coming down the pike, and I would expect you to probably get more information about it in the early part of 2025. Why did I know you were going to have a question?
I have like 2 questions. Kind of like 2 in 1. Could we also maybe like in the future get like trainings for like Title IX, Title II? So like kind of with that, and because my question with that was like, could you talk about like the timing of like why this is brought up now, and maybe like the timing that we can maybe like have the other types of presentations for like Title IX and stuff like that?
I'm so glad you asked that question. And because the federal regulations around Title IX changed in August, in January, we are rolling out an all-campus training on Title IX. So faculty and staff and students will all get that training effective effective January. We struggle. We're trying to find the best ways to get the information in front of students. So I would welcome your partnership or your suggestions around ways we can get in front of student groups to have these conversations, because people don't know. And we find that what they do know is often incorrect. And we want to, again, correct that misinformation and be a partner in terms of providing good information. Thank you. Any other questions? Y'all are great. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. You know what time it is. It's time for some bingo.
Bingo, let's go.
Ishan, if you'd like to introduce. I'm gonna clear these tabs. Bingo. Yeah. And again, all these presentations are in the supplemental materials folder. So if you would like to review them again, please look there. Ishan, you're up. Yep.
All right. Does everybody in here have a pen? Ryan, come on. You can do better than that.
I might have like 2 or 3 extra.
All right, look around you. Do you have a pen? Show me. Show me the pen. All right.
Guys, let's show of hands. Where's the energy right now? Where are we? Are we great energy, mid energy, bad energy? Cass, bad energy. Being honest. All right. All right. We're gonna do another poll. Yeah, we're doing another poll after bingo.
That's why we're doing this. Okay. Does everybody have a pen? Does everybody have a pen? Show me your pens. I don't want to call people out. Show me your pens.
Nice. Sean's got a pen up there. Call it. Wait, I got it.
Okay, perfect. I have these bingo sheets. I
have a pencil.
For people who don't have pens, you guys can run down to like the SGA office and grab some as well if you need like a second, or just look around you and get the pens. Okay, perfect.
Sean's got an SGA pen up here.
Awesome.
That's epic.
Perfect. I have these bingo sheets. I printed out 40 for some reason, but there's obviously extras. All of you guys are gonna come up here, take one bingo sheet, look for people who like fit the whatever is written on there, and get it signed. And whoever comes up first is the winner. There is a prize. I don't know what that is yet, but there will be a prize, and I won't disappoint.
Perhaps
it's not going to be candy. It's not going to be candy. It's going to be something good. It's going to be something nice. I will decide that later. But okay, whenever, and then there's going to be a timer. How long should we set it for?
Let's do like
10 minutes. And if there's like, if you don't find like, I would say like try to like don't repeat people. But I know there's like not a lot of people here. So like if you really need to get like someone's names like twice, do it, but try not to do it. But yeah, they're up here. You guys can come up here. Once everybody has a bingo sheet, then we can start.
All right.
Should I keep them here? Get up.
Everybody, assemble. Please be seated. Not assemble, but.
Oh my god. Yeah, we got like a minute and a half.
You can keep it.
Is there any
seventh place prizes?
Totally.
You get a high five.
Oh, we're supposed to keep it.
You get a high five.
Yeah.
That's your prize. Just keep it. Just keep it.
Oh wow. Wow.
I'm not keeping it. All right, so we have our winners. First place was Kamya, second is Colin, and third was Jacob. So everybody.
Yes.
Can anyone tell me one thing they learned about someone that they haven't spoken to before? Anyone? Yeah. Nice. Anyone else? Yeah. I picked that up from like a conversation and I deliberately added that because I couldn't think of anyone else who's fenced. Any other fun lessons? Not lessons, yeah. How do you forget that about yourself?
I'm in the States, and so it's kind of hard to like.
Fair. A lot of people learned that I'm an only child. I've been getting bullied by someone right there. Yes, I am an only child. Is that? I hope that's a compliment. My friends say I give very heavy only child energy, and they don't mean that as a compliment. But okay, you guys will get your prizes soon when I decide what they're gonna be. But don't expect something big though. But it's not gonna be candy, I promise. Okay. Did you guys enjoy this though? Was this fun? Thanks.
SOS, please someone help me. It's not healthy for me to feel this. Why are you? Okay. All right. Is there any other business for the committee of the whole? The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Senator Wu.
Motion to adjourn committee of the whole.
There's a second? Cool. It's been moved and seconded. A motion to adjourn the committee of the whole. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstained say abstain. The ayes have it. And the committee of the whole that was previously called into order stands adjourned, and the Senate will continue considering the remainder of the agenda. All righty. On to new business. F1. The Senate will now consider a motion to approve the annual SGA F1 Apportionment Schedule Act. This motion was reviewed by the Committee on Administrative Affairs on October 31st. Spooky committee meeting. And was reported favorably. The chair will now read the entirety of the motion. Whereas Title II, Chapter 4, Section 3 states the Administrative Affairs Committee shall draft and submit to the Senate the annual SGA F1 Apportionment Schedule Act no later than the third to last meeting of the fall semester. And whereas the current allocation of seats is limited by the 3/4 and 5/4 limitations imposed by the general bylaws, therefore be it enacted by the University Undergraduate Senate, the following apportionment schedule is ratified. And I will display that right now. The sponsor is recognized for their factual description.
Hi, everyone. So every year, AA has to pass what's called the F1 Apportionment Schedule Act, which is basically just the allocation of senators to each district. When we say the word district, we're referring to each class. So when you see the word district, just think first year, second year, third year, fourth year, so freshmen through seniors. And the way it's always been is that the initial allocation is going to be 15 seats per class. Sometimes it varies, and so the minimum allocation, I believe the fractions are in the whereas statement, but the minimum you can have on each year is 12 seats, and the maximum you can have is 18 seats. I'm sure, I actually haven't looked at what our data is right now for this year, but I'm sure there are some senators that might be in a first year like your grade, but you might be representing a different year, if that makes sense. That's kind of how we allocate it to make sure that we are meeting this requirement that, again, is passed every single year. This is what it was like last year. I didn't make any changes to it. And so I'm just here today to ratify it. So I'll take any questions. Yeah, Michael, go ahead.
Point of clarification. This will go into effect. So this will impact next year's election. So when the Elections Commission is kind of drafting up the material for the election that will be affecting the next Senate regular period, they'll refer to this and say, okay, initial allocation is 15 seats for each class, if that makes sense. So this is not the F1 that was passed last regular period of the Senate, so last fall. That's why there's currently 15 senators for each class. And so this impacts the next year.
And like, for example, if this wasn't passed by the deadline, then the next, or what was used previously, would just be adopted again. So
right.
We're on a timeline, but yeah, any questions about this?
Oops. Okay. No questions? Alrighty. Is there a second for the motion? Does there exist a need for debates? Quorum has been questioned, and so just a little background. If quorum is assumed once it's been established, unless it's questioned by a senator. And so now I will check if we have quorum. People, senators in the hallway?
They're just going to take attendance for quorums.
All right. With quorum being questioned by a senator, I will now record roll call. Adeni. Adeni here. Adeni present. Alamanji. Alamanji absent. Anim. Anim absent. Bloom. Bloom present. Borowski. Borowski absent. Butasova. Butasova absent. Centenaro. Centenaro present. DeMarco. DeMarco present. Dami. Dami present. Duarte. Duarte absent. Vivetti. Vivetti present. Easy. Easy present. Germain. Germain present. Espinal. Espinal present. Hernandani. Hernandani present. Ibrahim. Ibrahim present. Imran. Imran present. Jameh. Present. Okay. Jameh present. Kim. Kim absent. Kumar. Kumar absent. Lequier. Lequier absent. Lewis. Lewis absent. Molesky. Molesky present. Malari. Malari absent. Manda. Manda absent. Manakandan. Manakandan absent. Mazando. Mazando present. Mello. Mello present. Nevins. Nevins present. Wynn. Wynn absent. Anyeka. Anyeka present. Patel. Patel absent. Patak. Patak absent. Pastorello. Pastorello absent. Fan. Fan present. Prabhakaran. Prabhakaran absent. Prabhakar. Prabhakar present. Rabin. Rabin present. Rue. Rue present. Sarna. Sarna. Sarna absent. Sharma. Sharma present. Stamen. Stamen, present. Silverio. Silverio, absent. Strong. Strong, present. Tamkin. Tamkin, present. Tao. Tao, present. Trung. Trung, present. Verma. Verma, present. Wu. Wu, present. With 32 voting members, a quorum is present. All right, back to the consideration of F1. I believe we were on second. Is there a need for debate? All righty. With no indication of a need for debate, the motion is called and the question is on the passage of F1. A motion to approve the annual SGA F1 Apportionment Schedule Act. All those in favor of passing the F1, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no. All those abstain, say abstain. The ayes have it, and the F1 passes. The Senate will now consider S42, motion to add Leha Syed to payroll for the position of office manager. This is sponsored by Chair Centenaro, who is now recognized for factual description. Yes, Chair Raymond. Because they're May motions.
Can only block vote special orders, sadly.
Yes.
So AA reviewed every single hired individual for the office manager position. The chief of staff was responsible for overseeing this application process and the interviews, and AA didn't find any discrepancies or anything in their process. Every manager seemed qualified on our end, and so we basically just voted to approve and add them to payroll. So I'll just pass it off if you have anything to add.
Thank you. Yeah, so as you guys saw in the application materials, we had 35 applications for office managers. The applications were open for about a week and a half. After that, I conducted 17 interviews and then selected the 5 that you guys will see before you in the motions. And I'm happy to take any questions on that.
Chair Raymond?
Yes. So on the notes, as you can see, I have a keyboard that switches from both. And at the end, when I was, putting away my typing, I kind of rambled. You can Google Translate it if you want. It's nothing. It means nothing. But yeah, that's essentially what it is. Any other questions?
All right. Is there a second for the motion? Does there exist a need for debates? All right, with no indication of a need for debates, the motion is called and the question is on the passage of S42. Motion to add Laiha Syed to payroll for the position of office manager. All those in favor of passing S42, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it. S42 passes. All right, congratulations. On to S43, motion to add Adana Easy to payroll for the position of office manager. Sponsorship is recognized unless waived, unless yield.
I have nothing additional to add for each office manager except for the fact that Adana is my mentee, and I'm so proud of her, and she deserves this. She's going to do a great job. So, yay. That's it.
I don't have anything additional to add as well, but yeah, congrats to Donna.
Any questions for S43? Is there a second? Those are just a need for debates. All right. With no indication of a need for debates, the motion is called and the question is on the passage of S43. Motion to add Adana Easy to payroll for the position of office manager. All those in favor of passing S43, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it. S43 passes. All right. The Senate will now consider S44. Motion to add George Caloris to payroll for the position of office manager. Sponsorships. Any questions about S44? Is there a second? Does there exist a need for debates? All right. With no indication of a need for debate, the motion's called. The question on the passage of S44. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstain say abstain. Ayes have it. S44 passes. The Senate will now consider S45, motion to add Zainab Al-Namer to payroll for the position of office manager. This sponsorship yields. Are there any questions? Is there a second? Does there exist a need for debate? All right, with no indication of a need for debate, the motion's called and the question is on the passage of S45. All those in favor of passing S45, please say aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it. S45 passes. Up next, S46, motion to add Jemiah Fernandez to payroll for the position of office manager.
Okay. I just wanted to add quickly that he very graciously stayed throughout all of Senate from the beginning. So thank you.
Awesome. Any questions on this one? Cool. Is there a second?
Second.
Does there exist a need for debate? With no indication of need for debate, motion's called. Questions on the passage of S46. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstain say abstain. The ayes have it. S46 passes. Congratulations to all of the office managers added to payroll. All right. Before we move on to business not anticipated, are there any motions to add business not anticipated? Yes, sure.
Motion to suspend the rules to add business not anticipated within 48 hours.
Second.
That was sent to me, which I will now read. Is this the business? Okay. Gotcha. All right. Give me 1 sec so I can pull this up on my screen. By the way, this is under the supplemental material folder. As a reminder, because this is being introduced as business not anticipated, I must read the entirety of the motion. Give me 1 second, guys. Pull this up. Here we go. I got it. All right. Whereas President-elect Donald Trump has stated his intent to cut funding to schools that address race, racism, gender, and sexuality, and whereas President-elect Donald Trump has also stated his intent to eliminate school administrator positions that oversee DEI initiatives, and whereas DEI services have been found to increase a student's sense of belonging, assist students in barriers they may face, keep students engaged in school, expose students to diverse environments, and introduce students to new opportunities. And that's good. And whereas the mission statement of the general bylaws of the SGA states to work to acknowledge, appreciate, and expand the diversity of the student body, including socioeconomic, racial, religious, culture, gender, sexual orientation, and political characteristics. And whereas the student consultation form reflected that 92.9% of the 155 students voted yes to affirming this motion. Therefore, be it resolved, the University of Massachusetts Amherst Student Government Association and the University Undergraduate Senate reaffirms its commitment to protecting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, faculty, and support services on campus. And be it further resolved, the University of Massachusetts Amherst Student Government Association and the University Undergraduate Senate reaffirms its commitment to enhancing existing and creating new programs to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion on campus. Sponsored by President Humphreys, Vice President Leone, and so on. But the senator sponsor of this would be Chair Mazzando. The sponsor is recognized for factual description.
Hello, everybody. So first of all, I wanted to thank everybody for their cooperation with this. This was developed really in a matter of a couple of hours, and it's really kind of amazing that we got the consultation as quick as we did. As I'm sure many of you guys are aware, last night Donald Trump was elected to be the 47th president of the United States. Donald Trump has frequently threatened to eliminate DEI programs and DEI administrators and cut funding to schools that do not comply with this. As you know, we have so many great resources, so many great staff members here on our campus who do such amazing work, making this campus a more welcoming and supportive place for our students. Now, we've already seen in the state of Florida and many other states this happening as a result of laws passed in those states. And students across the country are feeling the results of this, and they are feeling hurt by this. With that being said, the intent of this motion really, the inspiration behind it was I had a lot of students coming up to me today as their president asking, what are we going to do about this? You know, students are scared. Students don't know what is coming. But we have the opportunity here as a student government association to let our constituents know that we are here for them, we are supporting them, and additionally, we have the ability here to, sorry, it's been a rough day, but we have the ability to send a message that we are not going to sit by and watch this happen. Now, I want to emphasize that this is the beginning of the fight. This is going to be backed up by actions. You know, in the coming days, weeks, and months, we all are going to have a responsibility to fight for the freedoms and rights of our students harder than we've ever fought before. In the face of uncertainty, the best thing that we can do is come together as leaders and push back against the policies that may hurt our students, our staff, and our community. And this is the first step. Today is the beginning of what is going to be a long and hard fight. There is going to be a lot more to come. And every day that I'm in office, and I hope beyond then, this organization is going to stand for the rights of students. So I want to thank all of my wonderful other sponsors. I want to thank everybody who helped us get consultation. This was very, 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 very short notice, but I felt that it was really impactful to get this up today, and I hope that you guys will vote to put it on the agenda because I think it's super important that we pass this now in this moment. I don't think our students can wait for us. I think we need to send a message now, and then we need to get to work talking about what actions we can take in the coming days, weeks, and months to support our students during this very scary and very difficult time. I do believe that we will all get through this together, but we need to be strong. We need to fight for our students. And as student leaders, we have an obligation to protect our community. And this is the beginning of that tonight. I'll open it up if any other sponsors would like to say anything.
Sorry, just before we do that, I realized I made an error with parliamentary procedure. We're now going to vote on whether or not we want to add this to the agenda. After that, we'll recognize the rest of the sponsorship to make remarks, and then the rest of the Senate can ask factual descriptions, and we'll move on with the agenda in that way. But is there a second for adding? Can we turn off the microphones? Thanks. Is there a second for adding this motion to the agenda? Okay. All right. All those in favor of suspending the rules to include a motion not previously anticipated, please signify with an aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstained say abstain. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. Okay. Sponsorship is now recognized for the remainder of their factual description.
All right. Hi, everyone. So I'm Chair Mazzando of USC, and I just want to reaffirm SGA's commitment to DEI, because not only do we have officers here who are hired solely for to help improve the DEI on this campus, but it's important to recognize that us as senators, us as people in the SGA have power to make sure that the people in our communities voice are being heard regardless of what happens on the national level. And this is really where this motion comes in, because even though UMass is a predominantly white institution, we've always prided ourselves in trying to create a diverse group of students who are able to have equitable opportunities to their counterparts. And though Trump has stated that he would like to get rid of DEI inclusion networks, we want to make sure that people know where we stand and that we will try everything in our power to make sure that these DEI networks are sustained and further fostered. And I'd like to pass it on to Chair Onyeka, because I believe she can provide so much more insight as the chair of SOJECT. Yeah.
Yeah, I obviously sponsored this motion because my committee has a lot of work to do with DEI. I think it's really important to show marginalized students on campus that we as a SGA want to represent them and that we want their voices are important and that we are against any form of discrimination and that we want to fight as an SGA against that. Anyone else want to speak?
Senator Nevins, I'm a part of the Eisenberg Community Leadership Council. We work directly with the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion within Eisenberg. And I just want to echo how important these offices and these departments and programs are within this university alone. One huge facet of learning at university is learning things that you wouldn't necessarily learn at your high school and getting diverse opinions. And that's what these offices are truly for, and that's what they do. They advocate for curriculums that bring in different ideas and different cultures and aspects of things that you wouldn't necessarily get at a PWI in Western Massachusetts. Also, Massachusetts is a liberal thought leader, and we are the flagship university that is run by the state. If our institution is passing resolutions like this, then we are showcasing the state what the student body at their flagship university is thinking, so that the state can advocate for that at a national level. And that's what it's really all about. This is just a small domino effect that will slowly push, regardless of what you think about what happened in the election. Right now, it's all about advocacy and fighting for what we believe in. I've been looking at the odds of this election. It's going to be a triple sweep, and Trump is going to have a considerable amount of control. So it's important that we don't sit down and let it just happen, because that's exactly what they would want. You need to stand up and say something. You need to fight the system and get in the way, because if you don't get in the way, it's just going to keep on moving without you. So.
And also, just regardless of your political affiliation, this is really just re-emphasizing our reaffirmation of promoting DEI on campus, which the SGA has historically been doing. So this is just really enhancing and protecting DEI of what is going to come under this potential new administration that both President Humphreys and Senator Nevins have been talking about. I just want to re-echo their thoughts about raising awareness about this. I know it's a big election, and even though it is over, like the election has concluded, the effects and the implications are still at bay. It's very important to raise awareness of these issues. Talk to your friends. If you have any concerns, please talk to one of leadership. We're more than willing to accommodate you in talking about these issues. I think it's really important to do that because as it might come to a shock for some people, I know people have different emotions and whatnot. So yeah, I just want to really reaffirm and reiterate that.
I have one more thing I'd like to add before we go to the factual questions. I just wanted to read you guys a very brief poem that I think really sums up where we are at and why we are doing this. This poem is called First They Came. It was written by Martin Niemöller during the late 1930s in Germany. It goes, first they came for the socialists. And I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. I think we can learn a lot from this poem in this time, and I think what we're doing right now is we are defending our neighbors, we are defending our friends, we are defending ourselves. And I think we're not going to let the mistakes of history repeat themselves here tonight, tomorrow, or any day into the future. So I highly encourage you pass this motion, and I highly encourage that all of you do your part in the next couple weeks to fight for the students and fight for freedom in this country. And I look forward to doing that with each and every one of you.
Are there any factual questions for the motion? Okay. Is there a second for the motion? Does there exist a need for debates? All right. With no indication of need for debates, the motion is called. And the question is on the passage of, this will be S47. Resolution R5. Resolution 5, excuse me. All those in favor of passing Resolution 5, please signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. All those abstain say abstain. You guys have it. Resolution 5 passes. Okay. Are there other similar motions to suspend the rules? Senator,
Motion to suspend the rules to add business not anticipated for year prior to.
Chair will now read the entirety of the motion. I'll put it up here too. All right. This will be designated as S47 for reference. Whereas, according to the bylaws governing the Student Legal Services Office Advisory Committee, the SLSO-AC, there shall be 5 undergraduate student members of the SLSO-AC. The president of the Student Government Association, or his or her representative, shall be a member. The Student Government Association president, subject to a majority consent of the Student Government Association, shall appoint 4 undergraduate students to the SLSO-AC. These members will represent undergraduate students' concerns about legal issues affecting them, accessibility and availability of legal services for these concerns, awareness of and utilization of the SLSO by the undergraduate population, and funding of the SLSO through the Student Activities Trust Fund. Whereas the appointments of Vice President Leone, Deputy Attorney General Pujado, Secretary Vitale, and Attorney General Darbanga will fulfill the requirement of having 4 undergraduate student members on the SLSO-AC. Therefore, be it resolved that the Undergraduate Student Government Association Senate appoints Vice President Leone, Deputy Attorney General Pujado, Chair Centenaro, and Attorney General Darbanga to the Student Legal Services Office Advisory Committee. The sponsor of the motion to suspend the rules is recognized to make a description, factual description. Yeah.
I give my time to President.
Okay, President Humphries.
Yeah, so basically just a heads up, I am going to ask you guys to make a little amendment.
It was changed before it's voted on.
Okay, so Secretary Vitale in this line is going to be changed to Chair Centenaro to reflect that across both. But essentially, just what this is the SLSO-AC is the advisory committee to the Student Legal Services Office. As president, I have the responsibility to appoint 4 people. As you can see, this is 5 undergraduate student members. I am one of them. I'm kind of there by de facto, and then I have to pick 4 to appoint, and I have picked the Attorney General Darbanga, Vice President Leone, Deputy Attorney General Pujato, and Chair Centenaro, because they all play significant roles when it comes to the bylaws and the legal processes of the SGA. So it's just seemed like the most appropriate route to take with those appointments. So essentially, by making this vote, you will be approving those people to serve on that advisory committee. There's also graduate student government representatives on here, as well as some representatives from UMass administration. So, yeah.
Any questions for the sponsor, Chair Stamen?
So this is basically when this group was formed to basically represent undergraduate students' concerns to the Student Legal Services Office. So this is kind of our way to have a say in what is happening in the SLSO. That way we can refer feedback to them, and that way, that there is, some kind of mutual accountability there. There's also graduate student reps and administration reps, so it's kind of just a way to make sure that this service continues to be one that is working for all of our students and faculty, and that we are continuing to evolve it in a way that is positive.
If I could just offer a point of clarification as well. Every agency has an advisory board to some extent, and this is SLSO's advisory board, except it's called an advisory committee, and it's established and it regularly meets. Chair Stamen.
Another clarification question. So UBCTP has an advisory board, and
Technically, every agency does. Some just are not established. Some do not meet, which is just the reality of it. The advisory board is established and it exists. SLSO is just good about appointing or asking for people to be appointed to those advisory boards. To their advisory board, I mean. Are people still confused about this?
I'm just assuming that there's like a need for this. Do you think you could just speak to the need for this advisory board and how beneficial it would be to the student body?
Yeah, so like I said, I think it's important that we have student representation in the Student Legal Services Office, especially because this is a resource that is there for the students specifically. It is also paid for using fee money. So that's another thing. We want to make sure that there's a level of accountability there, and we want to make sure, just because of how essential this service is, we want to make sure that it is functioning at the best capacity that it can, and we want to make sure that this continues to be a very, very effective service for our students. Because again, like SLSO, for those of you who don't know, represents a bunch of, they don't do criminal cases, but they represent a bunch of different students in a variety of different capacities, and they can also refer people to lawyers for the cases that they cannot take on. They're also a huge resource for the Student Government Association. We go to them for advising a lot. Whenever you guys see like a bylaw change go up, a lot of times when we're doing our process changes, I'm sure we've talked a bit about SATF reform and registry reform. That's all being reviewed by SLSO. A lot of us have regular meetings with Attorney Farrell up at SLSO, and they give us great counsel. And so it's really a good resource for us too, to make sure that we are legally compliant and that we are doing things within the law and avoiding potentially putting ourselves in a situation where we could face liability. So it's a really important resource, and we want to make sure that it's working well. This committee has been active in past years, so it's not unusual. Like, technically there is supposed to be an advisory committee for each of the agencies, and that is something that we can talk about at a different time, like why they aren't active for other agencies and how maybe we can get to a point where those are active, because I do think this is an important thing. However, this one's always been really good about being active, and for as long as I can remember, we've had appointees on here.
Chair Stamen. Do you want to grab a microphone? Thank you.
I'm already standing. Just another clarification question. So since agencies are supposed to have advisory boards, is that already something that's like in our bylaws? And also, how are the appointees usually determined? I know you mentioned that you appointed SGA representatives to serve on this advisory board, but I guess what I'm asking is it usually like that, or is this just an exception to the rule? Just because I've never heard of this, that's why I'm asking.
This is the typical process that we go through. We haven't done it since would have been early last year, so it's been a little while since we've had to do this. But yeah, this is something that would be done annually.
And if I could just add another clarification. The requirement that an agency has a standing advisory board is something in our bylaws that we look for them to include in their constitution or charter. If I recall from my days working with agencies last year, that's kind of it with the requirement, just that there's a standing advisory board that the agency has with relevant stakeholders, SGA admin, community stakeholders as well. But who goes on it is subject to their own constitution. How those individuals are appointed either by the president of the SGA, or it's dependent on the agency itself.
Also, I would just like to add that SGA or not, these individuals are very qualified. I know Deputy Attorney General and Attorney General in specific work very closely with students in conduct cases because they oversee the conduct advising office, and they also work a lot with SLSO, and they have a good working relationship. So this will definitely further bridge the gap between students and the SLSO.
Vice President Leary.
Yeah, just a point of information. The president has the power through the Wellman document to appoint people on advisory boards, including advisory committees. So that's why, like, Colin's the one who's doing all this. So just wanted to clarify that. Thanks.
Any further questions for the sponsors? Senator Wu.
Point of information, advisory boards, especially for agencies, are referenced several times throughout the bylaws in, I believe, Title 2, under several different positions, including but not limited to the president, the vice president, and the attorney general. If you have questions about where they're referenced, please find them.
Thank you for that point of clarification. Any further questions or parliamentary points? Okay. I will now ask for a second. This is a second to add it to the agenda. Okay. All those in favor of adding S47 to the agenda, please signify with an aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstain say abstain. All right. S47 is added to the agenda. I guess the sponsor is recognized for another factual description, and we can have another factual questions period.
My factual description is all of what was just said. I encourage you to vote for this.
Okay. Any questions about that? Cool. Is there a second for passing S47? Okay. Those are just a need for debate. All right. With no indication of a need for debate, the motion is called, and the question is on the passage of S47. All those in favor of passing it, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. All those abstain say abstain. All right. S47 passes. Are there any other motions on the floor except the motion to adjourn? Yes. All right. No motions on the floor except motion to adjourn. I will take ending roll call. All righty. Adeni. Adeni present. Alamanji. Alamanji absent. Anim. Anim absent. Bloom. Bloom. Bloom present. Borowski. Borowski absent. Butasova. Please refrain from speaking. Butasova. Butasova absent. Centenaro. Centenaro present. DeMarco. DeMarco present. Dami. Dami present. Duarte. Duarte absent. Dvivetti. Dvivetti present. Easy. Senator Easy. Here. Present. Germain. Germain present. Espinal. Espinal present. Hiranandani. Hiranandani present. Ibrahim. Ibrahim present. Imran. Imran present. Jameh. Jameh present. Kim. Kim absent. Kumar. Kumar absent. Lequier. Lequier absent. Lewis. Lewis absent. Molesky. Molesky present. Malari. Malari absent. Manda. Manda absent. Manakandon. Manakandon absent. Mazando. Mazando. Mazando present. Mello. Mello present. Nevins. Nevins present. Win. Win absent. Anyeka. Anyeka present. Patel. Patel absent. Patak. Patak absent. Pastorello. Pastorello absent. Fan. Fan present. Prabhakaran. Prabhakaran absent. Prabhakar. Prabhakar present. Rabin. Rabin present. Rue. Rue present. Sarna. Sarna absent. Sharma. Sharma present. Stamen. Stamen present. Silverio. Silverio absent. Strong. Strong present. Tamkin. Tamkin present. Tau. Tau present. Trung. Trung present. Verma. Verma present. Wu. Wu present. All right. Thank you, everyone. Chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn. Senator Bloom. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify with an aye. All those opposed, say no. All those abstain, say abstain. The ayes have it, and the motion.